going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and here I am in New York City with the Hasselblad X2D II 100C. And this is an incredible opportunity to be able to show you guys one of the most exceptional properties that I've ever checked out through the eyes of probably the most impressive camera when it comes to data and range. This is Hasselblad's flagship. It is the latest X2D, a 100 megapixel camera that has 10 stops of stabilization, and through that, the XCD 35-100 lens, which in my opinion is probably the most versatile in the lineup when you factor the sheer range of its focal length paired with the high megapixel medium format count that is able to give you reframing capabilities that essentially no other camera is able to give you. This video is one that I would say is many years in the making. I've been coming to New York since I was a kid, and I've had so many mixed experiences with this place that over the years, I would almost argue that this is probably the greatest city in the world because it is able to offer everything. It is also exceptionally design focused. During this trip, I really focused on like a mid-century and art exploration of seeing the art of sound and robotics and technology, just experiencing all the things that I love. But this has all led us here to the TWA Hotel, and I can't wait to show you guys the entire gallery of photos that I've captured on this camera. So let's go ahead and take a look. The TWA Hotel almost represents in a lot of ways the golden era of aviation. Being able to revisit what it was like back in the day when, aviation just seems so chill, luxury, and beautiful. And a place that has really maintained the level of style that really represents the past, but in a modern form. I feel like there's no better scenario or comparison to the Hasselblad X2D II 100C as a camera than that. It's at the end of the day, the camera that was sent to the moon to capture the first American moon landing to now a camera that still represents a lot of heritage, history, but also future-focused technology by continuing to push the boundaries of color science, hardware, imaging, and also applying it to their smartphone partnerships as well. So as someone who's been lucky enough to shoot on the X2D and the 907X, I would say the biggest difference resides in the way it is used. The 907X is like a classic film camera that has superpowered digital capabilities of its medium format 100 megapixel sensor, but what is impressive about that camera is that they've been able to keep it so authentic, classic to itself. And on a trip to Lake Como, I was able to capture some of those classic homes that seem to embody the very same thing. To think that 100 years ago, people were probably taking photos from the exact same spot and holding on a camera that looks the same as the original, but in 100 megapixels is just a crazy idea to behold. But in this case, the X2D II is a camera that is trying to showcase the actual versatility in a way of a medium format camera. By no means is it trying to be small and light. It is a big, heavy camera that is so carefully crafted out of premium materials, but with the in-body stabilization, you don't have to be afraid of going handheld, shooting night images, going in the street, and using it more in a run and gun style to be able to capture authentic moments versus a more architectural or framed approach that I feel like Hasselblad cameras were typically associated to. To talk about the 35-100 lens, I've tried out a lot of different lenses within the Hasselblad lineup. From the 20-35 to the 38, the 55, the 75, and the 90. I really enjoyed using prime lenses, being forced to be a little bit more creative and intentional, framing the clips. But the 35-100 gives you the versatility in the medium format that is just to a very extreme case. Whether I am taking photos across the airport right now or zooming all the way in, continuing to be able to crop into the image so far, having just this one lens is something that I feel like a lot of people will see worth it if they invest in just this singular option. So some of the biggest differences to highlight between the X2D II 100C and the X2D is in the usability. The display itself is significantly improved. From 800 nits of brightness to 1400 nits, the ability to tilt it and get those different angles. Obviously on a camera of this caliber, I don't expect like a flip out display because a lot of people are going to be using the viewfinder, for example, but having a tilt display is much appreciated. On top of that, you have 10 stops of stabilization through the 5-axis setup, and there's 425 phase detection autofocus points with LiDAR assistance and subject tracking. I would say some of the bigger pain points on the original generation is down to the autofocus. A lot of times cameras of this size do not have as good of autofocus as you might expect on like a mirrorless camera, and they've really tried to close the gap in this case. I also really like the joystick to be able to quickly control the focus points, but generally speaking, I think they've taken all of the elements on paper when it comes to the specs and the performance and refined all the areas around the actual sensor, which has remained the same as it was already, essentially the most powerful sensor that you could put in a consumer photo camera. For studio photography, the differences in some of these features may be less noticeable, but I think what it really enables is more low light and tough scenario photography. So before we move on, I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, Monday.com. I've talked a lot about their tools in the past, how we use it for visual charts, as well as productivity workflows, and how to keep your team in sync. But recently, they actually launched an entire AI agents ecosystem. It allows you to design, launch, and manage personalized agents that handle complex workflow with no code required. Some of the examples in my workflow might include a deadline, but the product hasn't arrived. There might be logistics. Our editor might be busy with something else. Maybe the set isn't ready yet. And so being able to predict all of those delays, taking a look at our overall queue, and then managing what we should work on first to ultimately deliver every single deadline as quickly as possible is essentially perfect in how the Project Analyzer AI agent works. Another one includes Sales Advisor, an AI sales coach that is able to predict potential deal blockers, provide coaching tips, identify sales trends and opportunities across your pipeline. Monday.com's AI agent ecosystem is worth evaluating if you are serious about your AI productivity, so if you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, I'm going to leave a link down below and on screen as well. I love being able to photograph architecture, and I feel like that is no secret. I'm very passionate about interior design, and especially when it comes to furniture that is iconic after so many years. But one thing that I also really like is aviation, and that is why we're at the TWA Hotel in the first place. I mean, usually it's not easy to be able to stand on a tarmac and take pictures of large planes, but I feel like aside from being at a museum, this is probably the most realistic look that you're going to get at a camera sample of a plane that is just parked right outside of this hotel. I mean, from the baggage carrier over there to just walking along the tarmac, getting some pictures of the building, these are definitely some of the favorite things to photograph for me and what you're seeing in this episode. So from my photography experience, what are some of the improvements in the Hasselblad X2D II 100C that benefit the type of photos that I shoot? I would say from my scenarios, I definitely experienced the benefits of taking photos in low light, especially in the lower shutter speeds. On top of that, I found that the tilt display has been excellent. Having a brighter screen as well while I'm out and about, and just having that versatility, being able to get a little bit lower in the angles and not feeling any limitations there has been amazing. And when it comes to autofocus, that has been great as well, and I've been using the joystick to be able to select certain subject points and focus points easier than ever before instead of having to always use the touchscreen. These are some of the things that I particularly notice, and whenever we're taking like portrait photos or having photos of myself taken, I like to be very candid, and so by having the subject tracking, continuous autofocus, and the improved amount of points, that really comes in handy in my scenarios. But I feel like especially if you are taking pictures of like fast moving objects, cars, planes that are flying by, or people and pets or animals, then you're really going to appreciate some of the changes in this camera. The 35 to 100 lens, I really can't say enough good things about. It is so versatile. Medium format at 35 millimeters, I believe is somewhere in like the 25 millimeter point, which is pretty wide. And for most of the architectural photos that I was taking, I didn't have to go extremely wide. Being able to crop into 100 from like different parts across of other buildings or zooming in on the plane, capturing a different dimension has been really cool. But as we've talked about so much in this video, you can actually crop in on everything. So this is a photo that I've seen before, but I wanted to come here and capture it for myself. From this room, I have a view of the old airport, and the red carpet, the tulip tables, and everything over there just looks so cool, but you have to be in this specific spot. It is quite far away though, and so I need to zoom in quite a bit. And I think this is a good example of how this camera and the 35 to 100 lens is able to give me that shot in particular. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, and I'll see you all in the next one.